Today we're going to work on a solo arrangement of Morning Has Broken by Cat Stevens. This was actually voted on over at my Patreon page, where every month we do a song vote to determine what tutorial I'm going to work on based on suggestions from the patrons. So if you'd like to check that out, as well as download a PDF of this tab, feel free to check out that in the link down below. But let's go ahead and dive into Morning Has Broken, and we're going to start with the intro, which is quite a lot of fun. So this arrangement is built for both high G and low G ukuleles, so it works with both tunings. And what you'll notice about the intro that's sort of interesting is we actually never play the G string, and this is sort of by design to make it work really well with both tunings. So we're going to start here with a D chord, but all that we're going to do is play the 2 on the C, the 2 on the E, and open on the A. So we're going to take our index, place it on the 2nd fret of the C, and then take our middle and place it on the 2nd fret of the E. Now to do this, we're going to pluck our C, E, and A together with our thumb, index, and middle fingers on our playing hand. Or you can take your thumb and strum through. Both work. It just depends on what sort of sound you want. But then we're going to finger pick the next few notes. You'll notice that's going to play the 2 on the C. You can use your thumb there. And then the 2 on the E and the 0 on the A together. You can use your index and middle fingers. And then the 2 on the C again with the thumb. Now from here, it moves to a G chord. And what's really neat about this is your index finger is already in the right place. So all that you need to do is take your middle finger and drop it to the 2nd fret of the A string, and then cross the ring finger up to the 3rd fret of the E string, and pluck those 3, or with your thumb, strum them, either way. We're going to do the same little picking pattern here where we play the 2 on the C, and then the 3 on the E and 2 on the A with our index and middle again, followed by the thumb on the 2C again. Then from here, we're going to go to an A chord, but all that we need to do is take our ring finger off, take our middle finger off, and move the index down to 1 on the C. That's it. We're going to do the same little pattern here. We're going to pluck our C, E, and A, or strum it with our thumb, followed by pluck the C, pluck the E and A, and pluck the C again. Moving into this F sharp chord, which sounds scary, right? It's not. It's actually really, really straightforward and simple. When you look at this A chord that we're at, the 1 on the C, all that we're going to do is make a G chord, but down a fret. So the index stays here, the ring finger comes up to 2 on the E string, and the middle finger comes to 1 on the A string. And we're going to pluck or strum those 3 strings. With this one especially, it's very important to not play the G string, because it sounds really bad. So we want to make sure we're only playing the C, E, and the A. Same pattern, C, E, and A, and then the C string. Now for the last chord on this opening line, we're going to go to a B minor. And to do this, all that we do is take that index finger, we slide it up 1 fret, taking the other 2 fingers off, and then we bar it across the 2nd fret of the C, E, and A strings. We're going to do the same pattern. Play the C, E, and A together, and then C, E, and A, C. If this bar is tricky, it's okay to take your middle finger and actually stack it over the index, just to give it a little bit more force, and also make sure with that bar, you're getting right up next to that fret wire. It really helps make sure you get a good sound. So this whole stanza now measures 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're all identical in terms of the rhythms. We play the chord, and then we play the C, the E and A, and then the C again. And it should sound something like this when it's played all together. Pretty cool, right? So now as we go on to the next set of bars, we're going to see that's more of the same, just with now different chords. In this case, we're going to play a G7 chord. To play this, we're going to take our middle finger, place on the 2nd fret of the C string, index here on the 1st fret of the E, and our ring here on the 2nd fret of the A. We're going to pluck those 3 strings together, the C, E, and A, then the C string, E, and A, then the C again. Same pattern we've been doing. Now it's going to go to a C chord. Just take your index and middle fingers off and move the ring finger up 1 fret to 3 on the A, and you'll be there. Play your C, E, and A, the C string, E, and A, and C string. Really straightforward. Now for this F chord, we're going to leave that ring finger where it is on 3 on the A. Take your index and add it on 1 of the E. Pluck those 3 together. And the C, E, and A, C, and And then to end the intro section, we just strum through a C major chord with our thumb. So that next set of bars, measures 6, 7, 8, and 9, should sound something like this together. Now, from this point, it goes on to the melody of the song, the main melody. Morning has broken like the first morning. And so what's really important as we look at this next set of bars is knowing that some of these are melody notes and others are filler. And the way that you can tell is lyrics. Anytime there is a word listed, you want to play that note a little bit louder and more pronounced because it is the melody of the song. It's what's being sang. And anytime that you have just strum markers or no lyrics present, that's going to be filler. So you want to play it a little bit softer. And this song's going to use a lot of strumming, but it makes it sound really quite nice. Another thing to note that I didn't mention at the intro, this song is in what's called 3/4 time. It's a waltz. That means there are 3 beats per measure. So it's important to sort of get that feel of that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, kind of sways back and forth a bit as you're playing it. But let's go ahead and dive in. So we're going to start with morning has, and all that is 0 on the C, 0 on the E, and then 3 on the E. And I actually like for this 3 on the E to use my middle finger. And the reason for that is what happens right next. When it goes bro of broken, it's going to go to a C chord. And if I use my middle finger here on the 3 of the E, my ring finger is ready to go 3 on the A, and then take off the middle finger so that I get the C chord 0, 0, 0, 3. Now, this first C chord here on the word bro, I'm going to use my thumb to strum through in a very pronounced way because it is melody. Morning has bro, right? But right after this, you'll see that there's 3 more C chords. They've got some symbols here too. It's like this little 3/4 square and this little V. And what those mean are strums. The little 3/4 of a square is a down strum, and the little V is an up strum, and specifically with your index finger. So we're going to do a down followed by an up followed by another down for that little pattern that follows the word bro of broken. Now again, make sure you do this softly because it's filler. So this sounds something like this. We have morning has bro. See how nice that is? If I do it too loud, it just detracts from the whole thing. So nice and soft with those strums. Then as we go on to Ken, a little bit of a jump here. We're going to take our index, we're going to move it all the way to the 5th fret, and we're going to bar all the way across all 4 strings. And we're going to play the C, E, and A with our thumb. And then we're going to do the same down, up, down that we did before, nice and soft, because that's Ken. And then from here, it moves to a G chord. So another big jump with the hand. Index finger you can think of as your pivot point. It moves down to 2 on the C string. Then the ring finger crosses up to 3 on the E, and the middle here on 2 of the A. We're going to strum through with our thumb. And no filler strums here. We have like the first. And the way that we play that like the first is we hold the G, take the middle finger off for the open A, and play the 3 on the E. Moving right on into measure 14. Play an F chord, middle finger goes up to the 2nd fret of the G string, index here on the 1st fret of the E string. We're going to strum through with our thumb. And then we're going to do down, up, down with our index finger because of those markers, nice and soft. And then we're going to go to the C chord. And with this C chord, what I actually like to do is move my middle finger to 3 on the E for the same reason as we did earlier, because the strums are going to be on the C chord. So I can just take my ring finger, place it on, take the middle finger off for those simple strums. So that's a lot of stuff there, but what's cool is it's a lot of the same stuff. You'll notice the filler strums are always this sort of down, up, down. So here's what measures 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 should sound something like this. I'm going to say the words as I do it too. Morning has broken like the first morning. Pretty neat. Now, if you're struggling with this, take it nice and slow. It's not a race. You want to develop the muscle memory, and from there, you'll get it. As we move on to the next part, You'll notice it's more of the same, just with some different chords, basically. We're going to start with the words blackbird has. And to do this, we're going to play open on the C, 2 on the C, and then open on the E. Really nice there. Then we're going to go to 17, where we're going to play an E minor. So ring finger on the 4th fret of the C string, middle finger here on the 3rd fret of the E, index here on the 2nd fret of the A. Now we're only going to strum our G, C, and E with our thumb to start for the word spoken. But then we're going to use our index to do the down, up, down strum over the full chord. And the reason for this is our melody note is this G note, this 3 on the E. And if I strum all the way through, it makes it sound like the B note, the 2 on the A is the melody, so that doesn't sound quite right. So we want with those nice soft strums. And as we go to ken of spoken, we go to an A minor chord. Just take your index finger, move it up to 2 on the G, take the other fingers off. And that's ken, followed by a down, up, down. Then we're going to go to a D chord, but it's not fully a D chord. It's actually kind of this D suspended chord because of the melody note. And to do this, we're going to leave our index finger here on 2 of the G, which is already there from the A minor. We add our middle finger here to 2 on the C string, and then our ring finger here to 3 on the on the E string. And we're going to strum just the G, C, and E strings together, followed by open on the E, taking the ring finger off, followed by open on the C, taking the middle finger off. So like the first. As we go to the next part, this is actually very straightforward. We're going to play bird. The word bird is going to be 2 on the C, but build a full G chord there. Have the 2 on the C with the index finger, the 3 on the E with the ring, and the 2 on the A with the middle, because you'll play the 2 on the C. And then you go down, up, down, filler on that G chord. Then measure 21 goes to a G7, strum with the thumb because there's no marker to strum it with the index, but there's no melody note either, so you want to play it nice and soft. Followed by a down, up, down, still nice and soft. So here's measures 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, so that you can hear them with the words. Blackbird has spoken like the first bird. Now, as it moves on from here, we go on to measure 22. And on measure 22, it's somewhat similar. Again, you can see these same sort of filler strums. The song has a lot of repetition in the way it's played, which is really nice, because if you get the earlier stuff, the later stuff comes much more quickly. But here at measure 22, we're going to start with a C chord, but not an everyday C chord. We're going to start here with the 3 on the E string. Now, in this particular case, you can use your middle finger like we've been doing before, or you can use your ring finger. And I actually like to use the ring finger here because, well, no matter which way you play, it's tricky, but the ring finger makes it a little bit less tricky. We're going to go praise for the, and then for this word sing, I think this is probably the hardest chord in the song. It's an F chord, which is middle finger here on 2 of the G, index finger here, 1 on the E. But then we also need the 3 on the A. And that's really awkward. It's an awkward chord, but it sounds really nice. So I like to use my ring finger here on the 3 of the A, but it's pretty tricky to get that finger in. You might notice it's a big stretch. So it's totally okay, if it's more comfortable for you, to use the 3 on the A string with the pinky finger. There's no harm in doing that. Both ways will work. But we want to make sure we get a good connection on that chord for the word sing, and then down, up, down, filler. And then ing, nice and easy. It's an F chord without that ring finger, so we just take it off and strum through, followed by a down, up, down. So we have praise for the sing, ing, and then praise for the morning. We're going to go back to that C chord with the 3 on the E, not playing the A string, followed by the open E, open C. And then we're going to play the open C again. We're going to take our index and add it to 2 on the G to make that A minor chord and play that down, up, down for filler. Then we're going to play the word ing, morning. We're going to take our middle finger, place it on the 2 on the C. Make sure you leave your index on the 2 of the G, because then you're going to add your ring here on 2 of the E for a down, up, down on that D chord, which is pretty neat. So This whole run now measures 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Whew. Sounds something like this with the words. Praise for the sing, ing, praise for the morning. Now, as we jump on to measure 28 here, it's going to play a G7 chord, but it's not actually a G7 because of the melody. Again, this has happened a couple times where you notice the chord that's listed isn't necessarily the chord we're playing, and that's not because the chord that's listed is wrong. If you wanted to play this with another ukulele player or a guitarist or a piano player or whatever instrument, you could show them the chords that they should play up top, and it'll sound good. The reason why the chord isn't always what we're playing is because the melody note we have to make sure we feature, and sometimes a melody note isn't in the chord, and that happens right here for this G7 chord. Our melody note being the E note means that we're just playing 0 on the G, 2 on the C, and 0 on the E, and that's it, which is really not a G7, but if someone's playing a G7 with you, it sounds great. Anyways, we have praise for the, and that's just the index finger here on 2 of the C. And then we're going to go to spring, and we're going to play our middle finger here on 3 of the E, play our G, C, and E together, stopping on the A, then add the ring finger on 3 of the A for the C chord, filler strums, down, up, down, and then ing, spring ing, we're going to play an F chord, standard everyday F, nothing fancy here, middle finger on 2 of the G, index here on 1 of the E, and we're going to strum through all 4 strings, followed by a down, up, down. And then we're going to go on to this little G7 part, but there are no chords played. It's just melody. And what I like to do for this is take my middle finger and move it down to 2 on the C, just because it was already there on 2 of the G for the F. Makes it a little easier for the movement. I'm going to play that 2 on the C, fresh, open on the E, from, and then 2 on the C again, the, and then we go to the word world, which is open on the C. Now, this is actually going to be starting the sort of outro section, or rather the instrumental part for the repeat. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But fresh from the world is sort of a little bit of an ending point. And so let's just hear what that sounds like. It sounds something like this, going measures 28, 29, 30, 31 to the very first note of 32. It should be praise for the spring, fresh from the world. Now at this point here, it goes back to the finger picking pattern that we used in the intro of the song. We're going to be playing a C chord. Take your ring finger, place on the 3rd fret of the A string. We're going to play the open C, then the E and the A together, and then the open C. Same exact pattern we used at the beginning. And then it's going to go to an F chord. We're going to take our ring finger, leave it on the A string, so it's spicy F. We're going to take the middle finger, place on 2 of the G, and the index here on 1 of the E string. And now at this point, what we can do is we can strum through with our thumb over all 4 strings. And then we're going to pick C, the E and the A, and the C again. So to start that little pattern, just the end of 32 into 33 is... Now, as we go on to this final part, you're going to notice that unlike the intro, which only had 3 strings played at a time on all these chords, all of these chords have 4 strings played at a time. So you have to use your thumb to strum through all 4, or you can use 1 finger per fret and 4 finger pick it. Now, if you don't know how to 4 finger pick, I've got a video down below of a live seminar I did for Ukulele Underground that's linked that teaches all about 4 finger picking. But you can use your thumb to strum through all 4, or 4 finger pick it, whatever's more comfortable for you. And then this whole run here is pretty straightforward in that it's the same little pattern that we played at the beginning of the song, just with some different chords. We're going to start here with a G chord, just 0, 2, 3, 2, index here on 2 of the C, ring here on 3 of the E, and middle here on 2 of the A. And we're going to pluck C, E, and A, and the C. And this is where it gets really tricky because it's going to go to an E7, and there's no real efficient way of moving this chord because it's tricky. So what I want you to do is practice just going between a G and E7 as many times as you can because it's good for you and it'll help you get comfortable with this change because it's a bit of a doozy. What the E7 is though is index on 1 of the G, middle here on 2 of the C, and ring here on 2 of the A. We're going to strum through with our thumb and then C, E and A, and C. And then we go to an A minor. And for this A minor, I actually like to use my middle finger to come up, and that's to better set up the chord that comes next. So just the 2 on the G there, everything else off, strum through with the thumb. C, E and A, C, and then G7. That middle finger just moves down 1 fret, or 1 string rather, to the 2nd fret of the C string. Index on 1 of the E, ring on 2 of the A, strum through all 4. C, E and A, C, and then it goes to a C chord. Just our ring finger moves up 1 to the 3 on the A, the C, E and A, and C, and then a G7 to finish it. Now you'll notice there's 2 more measures, and we're going to talk about those in a minute. But just so you can hear it to this point with the G7, it should sound something like this when you play it. Now, there's 2 different things that you can do at this point. The first thing you can do is you'll see there's a number 1 and sweet the rains. Well, that's the 2nd run through of the verse. So you can actually repeat this, go all the way back to measure 11, and you'll notice that the lyrics show the 2nd verse as well as the 1st. And so you can play all the way through it again to add some length to the song. And everything is exactly the same in terms of what you play. There are just different words in those places. So instead of it being morning has broken, right? It's now going to go sweet the rains. So we have sweet the rains, and then it's going to go new fall sunlit from, and then heaven, right? It's the same stuff, just with different words, which is kind of neat. And after you go all the way through again, starting again at measure 11, right? Because that's where the repeat markers bounce back to. When we go all the way through, we skip measure 40 and we go right on to 41 to end the song. And if you don't want to repeat it, you just skip 40 altogether and you just go right to 41, and that's just a C chord to end the song, which is really quite nice. And so it uses this sort of picking part as the outro, which sounds really good for the song, and I think translates pretty well to the ukulele. And there you have it. Morning Has Broken. I think that this is a really fun song to play on the uke. That waltz feel has it really kind of grooving with the strums, which makes it quite a lot of fun. And so if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, as well as if you look at the Patreon page. I answer any messages I get there and everything else. So if you ever have a question, feel free to sign up and ask away. I do a live Q&A every month too for backers, and it's just a lot of fun. So thank you again to all of my patrons for making this video possible. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel to check out more tutorials, and I'll see you guys next month with whatever tutorial you think of. So thanks so much. Talk to you soon.